What's up, y'all? It's T-Turn. Today we're looking at y'all's theories for the Indigo disc, and we're starting off with something really cool. I wish I came up with it, but I didn't. It was y'all. It is about Zekrom and Reshiram. So recently we've been talking about Unova carrying on the past and future theme, because Reshiram represents kind of what worked in the past. Zekrom is reaching for something great in the future. So while it's not on the surface, truths and ideals meaning past and future, there's an underlying past and future there. While on that topic, y'all had a crazy cool idea. Y'all stop noticing these things before me. Unova speculation and theory for the next Pokemon game. Hey T-Tar, was watching your Unova is teasing the past and future vid, and I started thinking about the possible parallels that Game Freak could be making between Scarlet and Violet and Black and White. Y'all, Reshiram, the truth and the fire. The truth is what already occurred the past. Zekrom, the ideals and the electricity. Possibilities and what can potentially be the future. Paradox mons of the past, photosynthesis, paradox mons of the future, quark drive. Y'all, this is kind of dope. So could you imagine, right? We don't know what's up with the original dragon, but could you imagine that when we go into these Unova remakes, that Zekrom and Reshiram, either when they terrestrialize or as like a new hidden ability, they actually get, so Reshiram would get Orichalcum pulse, or that such ability where it summons the drought and benefits from it, maybe under a different name, or literally that name. Let's just say it like that. So Reshiram gets Orichalcum Pulse, and Zekrom gets Hadon Engine, which freaking sounds Zekrom-y. Hadon Engine? The dude has a turbine. And it has nothing to do with paradoxes, but it's just like an Easter egg that Reshiram and Zekrom, after they split from the dragon, unintentionally, Reshiram can command all the past Pokemon, be like their king, and Zekrom can command all the future Pokemon. Ideals and truths. Y'all, reading this gave me so many ideas. And then the other thing is, there's a cool idea with Kyurem, right? So if we were to say Reshiram and following truths is following like traditions of the past, not wanting things to change, which is what they say in game, right? And then ideals with Zekrom is about wanting change and wanting a better future. So we got past and future, right? Kyurem is an ice type. It's like he's freezing time. Not that that's what his ability is going to be. I mean, symbolically, past, future, and freezing things the way they are. It's actually so cool they gave Kyurem that typing if you think about it. We all just thought, you know, fire, ice, electric, it's just a trio typing, just like Zapdos, Articuno, Moltres. But there might be symbolic meanings to this. But yeah, so when Ogerpon terrestrializes, it does get a new ability, right? It's pretty much mega evolving. So does Tropigus when it terrestrializes. So you can imagine Zekrom and Reshiram, they get these abilities that summon the electric terrain and summon the drought. And Kyurem gets an ability which would pretty much be like Tropicus's, where it freezes everything. It freezes weather effects and terrains. It just neutralizes the playing field. Y'all, the more and more we think about this, it sounds so possible that Unova would carry on what Scarlet and Violet started. Wouldn't that be so cool to now enter an era of Pokemon where, rather than each game mostly being independent, there's like at least a tiny sliver, a tiny baton that gets passed from game to game. So the baton passed from Scarlet and Violet is this time theme, paradox Pokemon, maybe Briar, and that carries on to these Unova revisits. Especially now thinking about how they set up Koraidon and Miraidon to be fire and electric, it's like they made them that in the first place to lead into Zekrom and Reshiram smoothly. But tell me that's not a cool thought, right? How Kyurem being the absence of truths and ideals is just like frozen, time-wise. You see, things are always changing, right? If you talk to the NPCs in the Unova games, people want things to stay the same, people want things to change. Kyurem would represent actually freezing everyone in their tracks, which is what happens in Black 2 and White 2. Honestly, I think it'd be such a cool idea if the Paradox Pokemon carried over to these games. Like, it would be so cool if more are introduced in these Unova games. Like, more, because pretty much, you see the same way you find the Unova and Johto trio, they're still in Area 0. So the implication is they just escaped from the time machine and are stuck in Area 0. So all you gotta do is, if you want to add more Paradox Pokemon to these Unova games, you just say they escaped from the time machine too, and then they were brought to this Unova region by someone. So, you know, we get a bunch more Pokemon with photosynthesis and quark drive to lead in more smoothly to, coincidentally, Zekrom and Reshiram being able to lead them with their own abilities by pure coincidence. Hey Teacher, I was wondering something related to Callos. So since in the Indigo disc, a lot of the legendaries are back except for Gen 6, and since there's a blocked area in Paldia that people think could lead to Callos, do you think after the new epilogue that comes out that there could be another future update where we can go there and catch Xerneas, Yveltal, and Zygarde? Yeah, you know I'd be down for this, but I think Pokemon's gonna move past Scarlet and Violet after this, which breaks my heart, man. I've really grown with these characters, but that's why they called it the epilogue, right? It's because nothing comes after. Y'all gonna make me cry. You know, actually, I just had a thought. While it is called the epilogue, it's called the Hidden Treasures of Area Zero epilogue, right? So it's really epiloguing the DLC package, which is the Teal Mask and Indigo disc. So if they were to make, could you imagine? Could you imagine February rolls around, right? And they introduce a second expansion for Scarlet and Violet. That would have its own titles, so I could go past the epilogue. And this could also be another way to interpret Ku putting Paldia as one of the 4 first predictions for 2024, unless it really is the epilogue. Obviously, more likely than not, Scarlet and Violet ends here. There isn't a 3rd and 4th DLC, but you know, Pokemon's always experimenting. And the same way around 2018 when they're making Let's Go, that they teased that they were working on something else in the future, something like that could also work with Ku's map here, where we focus still on Paldia, but they just tease projects that are about Johto/Kanto and then Unova. I'm really clinging on, man, but I know Scarlet and Violet's ending. Console and game remake theory. Hey T-Tar, I'm piggybacking off the theory about how the next remakes could be in Gen 10 instead of Gen 9, and I had another idea, which is what if the next remake is coming soon, but it's just on the next console? So we got Fire Red and Leaf Green on the Game Boy Advance, we had Heart Gold and Soul Silver on the DS, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire on the 3DS, BDSP on the Switch. So going by this logic, Unova Remakes on the next Super Switch. I mean, that's not a bad idea at all. You know, the lag issues people face, right, in Scarlet and Violet, a lot of these would disappear with stronger hardware, right? You know, man, so you know how people complain, right, that Game Freak's releasing games too fast? Imagine how cool it would be, I'm clinging to this again, if we get a second DLC package, so a 3rd and 4th, right? And this takes up all of 2024, but this allows Scarlet and Violet to be the end of Pokemon on the Switch instead of them releasing something before the new Switch comes out. Or imagine we get, you know, a second DLC package along with like the Johto remix, so a more simple one, and that's what concludes the Switch. And then Unova revisits would be on the next hardware, so they would just do like minor teases for that. Alright, I'm done clinging, alright? Make sure to shank that like button. Let me know your thoughts on both whether you think Unova will come out on the Switch or they'll wait for the next one, and also on the Zekrom and Reshiram idea. Orichalcum Pulse and Hadon engine, that is too cool. And keep sending me y'all's ideas. I'm gonna look at your ideas for a bit now, give y'all a proper chance. Make sure to shank that like button, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Take care.